Yo, what's up, guys? It's Nick from Against Gaming. Welcome back to another MLB The Show video. Today's not going to be an MLB The Show 21 video. It's going to be probably my first video talking about MLB The Show 22. And yeah, it is December 22nd, 2021, and we still have zero MLB The Show 22 news. We experienced something very similar to this last year, so I'm just going to get into the detail of everything and just sort of have a brief discussion on when I think details are going to come out and when they should and why they haven't been out yet, because the season ended over a month, almost 2 months ago. Season ended November 2nd and it's December 22nd, and we normally get news in October or November, and we don't have any news. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about that today. So first of all, last year's game, MLB The Show 21, it started giving out news February 1st, 2021, and the game came out April 20th with an early release date at April 16th for the Digital Deluxe Edition. I rarely think that's possible to announce a cover of a game that comes out 2.5 months later. That's definitely a quick turnaround. But the thing about last year is that, you know, we had COVID, which is still a thing now, but the vaccine is out now. And it was definitely much harder then to get into the office and to work for Sony San Diego Studios on an entire new game. So I think that's a big reason why the game was delayed, and the release of the game was after the season started. The season started April 1st, and the release was April 16th or April 20th. I don't think the game is going to come out after the season starts again this year. I think it's definitely going to come out normally, which is like 2 to 3 weeks before the season starts. But I think that definitely played into a factor last year. Another factor last year were the release of the new next-gen consoles, the PS5, the Xbox Series X and S. That alone in itself requires more time to adjust to a new console. People did studies last year on games when the Xbox One and the PS4 came out, and for MLB The Show, it was very similar to what we had now, except it was actually a little later. It came out in May on the next-gen consoles, so it was actually earlier than it normally is, but we knew that the game was going to be coming out later than normal, and it did. So before MLB The Show 21, this wasn't the case. These games would come out in early March, mid-March, well before the season began, and we were not waiting for a long time for a new game. You know, obviously no pandemic helps, but I think, like I said earlier, they're able to get into their offices and work now because of the vaccine. So I think that we are going to get news when the MLB lockout ends. That's another thing that we have to keep into account, is the MLB lockout. This is not good for MLB The Show. This is definitely a concern for them, because with the MLB lockout, they don't have rights for these players. So if there's still a lockout and they're about to release the game, I don't think they have the rights to any baseball player. They only have the rights to the legends and maybe to minor leaguers now that they have those rosters. Don't fact check me on the minor leaguers, but you know, they pay money to get these legends in the game, so they're obviously going to have these legends. So when the lockout ends, I think is when they'll announce the cover. I think they're definitely working on the game. They just can't announce the cover. I think they have all of the cover stuff done. They just can't announce it. So yeah, that's what I think an issue is the lockout getting in the way. I think hopefully next year, with no lockout, no COVID restrictions in the office, I think it'll go back to normal with sort of revealing the cover in October and November. For MLB The Show 23, it would be by then. Another reason why it could be taking a little longer is because of more consoles being added. Last year, they added the Xbox One, the Xbox X, and Series S, and they announced that in December of 2019, and they actually mentioned Nintendo Switch as well, but Nintendo Switch did not make it to MLB The Show 21, so I think there is a very big chance that Nintendo Switch will be compatible with MLB The Show 22. I'm interested to see how that works, because the Nintendo Switch is a very unique console. It's portable, you can play it literally anywhere, and I don't know how they're going to treat it with the next gen capabilities, because I don't know if it can hold Stadium Creator. I don't know if it has the specs that the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S have. I highly doubt it, but it's interesting to see what they're going to do. Another console that everyone has been talking about is PC. I don't really know what to say. I don't know how you're going to be able to hit and pitch with a mouse and keyboard. So, yeah, I mean, getting the game on PC would just make it run a lot faster and eliminate freeze-offs if you're playing on PC. But, yeah, I think that PC would definitely be an interesting one. I hope it wouldn't ruin the game, though, because in other games, especially shooter games, it's definitely something that's an advantage, being on mouse and keyboard over a controller. So my prediction is I think the lockout's going to end eventually, and then the cover is going to come out, and then they're going to release all these news, all these info videos, all this good old stuff, all these trailers. I just wish that we didn't have COVID last year and the lockout this year, because, you know, I'd like to get news in November like always, and I'd like to know stuff about the new game a long time in advance. So yeah, just talking some cover possibilities. Shohei Ohtani is definitely number 1. Number 2, Juan Soto. 3, Ronald Acuna Jr. 4, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and 5, Jacob deGrom. That is my list for current players. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, these are all guys that are very well known. I did not put Mike Trout on there because he's already gotten covers in other games, and I don't think those games are going to let him get an MLB The Show cover. And let's be honest, if MLB The Show were to have him on the cover, they would have done it by now. There's no reason for them to wait until the year where he plays around 40 games, 50 games, 60 games, I don't know exactly, but they wouldn't wait till a year where he was injured for most of it. So that's why he's not on here. You know, Shohei Ohtani just had his amazing season. Juan Soto, really fun player who the kids really like. Ronald Acuna Jr., guy who has just a ton of swag, and I thought he was going to be the cover last year, but it ended up being Tatis. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just had his breakout year. You know, he's a star. He's young. He's a fan favorite. And Jacob deGrom, everybody knows who that is. For the legend cover possibilities, new legends. I think number 1 would be a new legend. Obviously, I can't write down any names because, like, there are no new legends confirmed. But, like, if MLB The Show gets the rights to A-Rod and they need a legend cover because of the lockout, they're going to make it A-Rod. It's pretty simple. That's why I have new legends at number 1. Number 2, I have Pedro Martinez, fan favorite pitcher, one of the greatest of all time. Hank Aaron, number 3. Roberto Clemente, number 4. And Babe Ruth, number 5. I put Hank Aaron and Clemente ahead of Babe Ruth just because they're more popular nowadays. Babe Ruth is obviously, you know, like the greatest baseball player of all time, so you can't go wrong with that. But yeah, those are just some possibilities. That's me for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I've been your host, Nick from MLB Gaming. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.